Hey guys, Frank Daver here, and today I'm going to be talking about Scrolls intermediate level playing techniques, tips, and strategies. So, things I will cover in this new series. I will cover unit movement, positioning, starting hand, predicting what your opponent will play, deck choice, deck building, top decking, general match mentality, thinking turns through, maximum efficiency, and many more things. So, yeah, all of these things will allow you to become a better player. And the actual teaching, I will write stuff on the PowerPoint and I also talk about it, obviously. I will show screenshots with annotations, actual match gameplay, footage, and diagrams. So, unit movement. Unit movement is important because it's going to allow you to maintain board control. And what that means is that you're just going to have the advantage when it comes to taking out idols, choosing whether you want to threaten enemy units or not, and it's just something every player has to do every single match. So, general key unit movement rules. Protect the maximum number of units. Of course, the big units, the weak units, and also units that are going to attack have the priority. I would say units that are going to attack are the most important because they are the ones that allow you to come back and take out the enemy units. And you would be surprised how many lower rated players just put all the stronger units, the units that are going to attack on the front, and you never really want to do that. Movement is also going to allow you to threaten the whole board, especially the middle. Once you take out the middle idol, you have more of an advantage when you're advancing your units through the board. Later in the game, you have to protect idols and you have to move to threaten idols. Make sure you think what you're gonna do the turn and do it before moving units. This is very important. What is this again? And here's a video. This one isn't in high definition, but it's to show the point. Here, Tin Fox playing against Vericus wants to take out the 4 Health Brave, and he moves down his units, then he moves down his brother, summons a wolf, and then splits the Kinfolk Jarl. Sacrifices for scrolls, and he finds a veteran and that he plays to take out the brave, but the problem is that now his units are on the bottom, so he should have actually kept them in the middle, because then they would have been able to move everywhere and just threaten units everywhere. Make sure you update your unit's position every turn. And this basically means don't leave units near the bottom or the top of the board alone. Only move your units when you need to, and pay attention to your enemy's positioning. If your enemy is moving his units closer to yours, he probably has some sort of way to take them out. Otherwise, he would just be putting them at risk for no reason. And move your units to achieve maximum efficiency. This means if you have a vanguard going off, which is going to buff all of your units or general, move your creatures so that they're next to them, and yeah, maximum efficiency, guys. The actual movement strategies. The row with your attacking units should be separated by 1 row to the enemy's attacking units. And I'm going to show this in a second. Also, remember to use zigzag positioning, and you can see both of those things in this video right here. So I have a row of Aging Knights that are attacking this turn, and Chief Brimden has a row of attacking Aging Knights that are attacking on next turn for him. And here the ideal thing would be to get both of my skirmishers on the row of the Aging Knights, so that if Chief Brimden wants to move his units down, they would then take them out. But if I just move everything up, he will take out my Aging Knights. That's why I use zigzag positioning. So move them like this, and that way you can switch the Aging Knights and the skirmishers. And with this last Aging Knight, you can choose to move him down to attack the idol. You can choose to leave him there to then maybe play a Roasted Beam Potion next turn. Or you can choose to move him up to threaten, to bait the enemy units so that you can ensure that the skirmishers kill something. Now, this is what I meant by keep your attacking units, well, the ones that will attack next turn, one row away from the enemy's attacking units. Now, Chief Remnant here could do the zigzag positioning himself. He would move this Aging Knight back here, Cleaver down, Aging Knight back, and Vanguard down. Almost all the players, all the top players use the zigzag positioning, and almost none of the not so good players use the positioning. So you really have to try and remember that you can do these things and then not get your units threatened by the enemy. So, movement strategies. Remember to use, yeah, we already talked about that. Never leave units on the top or bottom rows. And that's, for example, with the Smuggler. If I were to end the turn right here, it would only threaten the second row and the first row. But if I move him up, or her up actually, it threatens all of the 3 rows, including the middle one. And that's just better because it forces your opponent to play in a different way. So the small things like that matter. They really do. Don't leave them on the bottom like that. And finally, we're going to apply all the things that I just talked about in a video. So here I am playing against the Tsar Bomba. This was like 10 minutes ago. And here just I'm playing Aggro Growth, and already at the beginning I choose to move my units up away from his runner, because that way if he wants to run away he can, and that would be beneficial for me, so he wouldn't kill my my Vader. But he decides to move up, and that's also good because then I could build up a board down on the bottom. Here I decide to play a Brave because I think it will be more beneficial than a Mystic. It will allow me to maybe clear the row next turn. But he plays Piercing Projectile. And here already I almost make a mistake, but I remember to separate them. And of course, if the Marksman has, if the Dust Runner has Piercing Projectile, you have to separate the units according to the situation. Here I move them both up, and that's another thing. And I move them up because that way, if he wants to kill them, he will have to move up and leave me the whole bottom area. Yeah, just building up some board presence here in the bottom. Get moved up the Wetland Ranger, because now he can't move this unit down or it would be threatened by it. And this turn is important. I play the Veteran here to deal damage to the Scout, since I don't consider it a threat, because my enemy has no other automatons. I don't move down the Wetland Ranger to take it out, and I leave the Great Wolf there. And what this Great Wolf is doing here is, if he moves down, they're both gonna die. And it's funny that when I decide to record this video, the player I'm playing against notices that my positioning is good. He says, "This is awkward," and then he says, "Can't move the runners." So, yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. Then here, nothing special. Moving the attacking units down to finally take out the whole row. And of course, moving the Veteran back up in the second here, because the Veteran down here is not doing anything, while if I put him here, he would be threatening the enemy's middle row, the row directly in front of him, or the bottom row with the Forge. And I played the Totem near the top because I didn't have any better place to put it. Didn't want to restrict my movement. Never restrict your movement. That's something else that's important. Never block your units, for example. Here I sacrifice my Veteran, and also try and set up to have a nice positioning for having the units threaten the middle row. That's how important the middle row is, because if I were to only build up a board down here, and he then could take out the middle idol, and I would have no way of pushing my units back up, and I can't win by just taking out 2 idols. And I also separate them from the Thunder Surge, so you have to think about a lot of things. Always prepare for the worst, guys. I mean, yeah. If you're playing against Growth, don't leave 3 health units on the front because they could be killed by a veteran. Things like that. Here, Oculus Cannon, very, well, not hard, but you have to be careful with those when positioning with those. Also, so here I land them up so that they can maybe take it out next turn, or the turn after. And the Wetland Ranger with 3 health is moved to the middle, and that's because he's the weaker one. And especially with a runner out on the board, you want him to not be on the front, because a Bombard could have wiped the lane. Another Oculus Cannon, and here I just have to take out one of the rows. I decide to take out the top one. I couldn't take out any of them with the double stack last turn. And also with the Great Wolf, I decided to leave him there actually, because I felt that that was where he would threaten most of the board. If I had moved him down, my enemy could have moved both automatons up and the Great Wolf wouldn't have attacked anything meaningful. While if I left him there, my enemy couldn't run away. But he did kill it, but yeah, I mean, if he had killed the bear, the result would have been the same, kind of, so I don't think that was too important. Remember that there's never a perfect positioning. There's good positioning, but there's no optimal one. There's just different positioning styles and movement styles. Here I decide to veteran the automaton just because it's threatening my units, and I could move up, but I don't want to because I don't really care about that smuggler. And as aggro growth, you want to take out the idols as fast as you can. Not really the units, the idols. I couldn't update the bear's positioning because if I had moved him up, the Oculus Cannon would have attacked and killed him. Now here he plays a Forge, Scout, and since I want to end this game and I have 2 Crimson Bulls, I'm gonna move all of my units up, all of them, so that the Scout doesn't threaten any of them. And I'm also going to play a Wetland Ranger in front to protect the more valuable creatures here. The bear and the veteran are more important than the Wetland Ranger here. If I had wanted to go for maximum idle efficiency, I should have left one of the Wetland Rangers down there, but since I had double Crimson Bull, I thought that was fine. And that's it. Thanks for watching. This is only the first episode, so things might change. Movement is hard to get right. These are just some basic rules. Every situation is different. And the video may not be too in-depth because I want to keep the episode short. If we wanted to talk about movement, we could spend 3 hours discussing everything. But yeah, and have a nice day. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.